there, what is up? It's Sean Bailey, and welcome to the Sales Funnel Nerd Podcast. This is episode number 1. So, first off, what is this about? Well, this is a podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs to learn more about sales funnels, marketing automation, and copywriting. And the great news is that the first episode is going to be the suckiest. As things go on, as the great man Steve Larson once said, the more and more that you do something, the less and less that you will suck at it until eventually you'll just suck so little that you'll look like you're an actual expert and you look really good at doing what you're doing. So the first episode, like I said, this is going to be the worst one. As this goes on, it's just going to get so much better. There's going to be like graphics and an intro song and all that kind of stuff. Really cool things coming up here. So the first episode is going to be the origin story. And from there, we can go hard after all kinds of sales funnel goodness, right? Sound good? So, I guess to go back, like why I even am doing this podcast, recording a video, why I'm an expert in sales funnels, why I'm a certified copywriter and certified conversion marketer and all that kind of good stuff. The reason that even came about to think that I would actually go and do all those kind of things and actually make money from the internet, to go back and look at the start where it all came from is just kind of crazy in a way, because it wasn't like a weird, dramatic story as far as like, oh, I was just like utterly destitute and I had like no money and, I was living on food stamps or something like that. Like it was just kind of, I was just kind of average, like things weren't good, they weren't bad, they were just like in the middle. Things were okay. I just, felt very kind of plain, and it's like, you don't want to sound like a jerk and be like, oh, I was destined for greater things. I just knew I had a higher calling, but it was just kind of like, I don't know. I felt like I wanted more than just knowing that it was like, okay, you get a good career job and then you just work for 40 years. And then, after 40 years, you retire for a while and then you die. And that's it. You just get up in the morning, go to work, come home, watch some TV, go to bed. Just rinse and repeat for 40 years. So I don't know, that just didn't really appeal to me. I didn't really sound, excited by that prospect. So I just felt like, okay, let's do something else. Let's try, let's do something more with our life than just that plan. And it was kind of like, you'd see those quotes around, like it would be like in your Facebook feed or something, somebody would throw in a quote, and it was like the ones that were like, nobody ever got rich by being an employee. Right? It was things like that. Eventually, those kind of things building up enough in your brain where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try something and start learning and start reaching out, which was kind of what I did. Like started looking at other how people did business online as far as like what there was and what you could do. Now this was just like scratching the surface, so there was so much like scam stuff and just bad products and stuff that I kind of had to wade through first as I was like learning about the whole internet marketing concept. And I didn't, I was just learning a lot of kind of like more reading than implementation. There was no like business launch or anything like that. I didn't even have a business at that point. It was just kind of like the learning phase. So just a lot of learning. And but it was really the summer after I moved in with my wife. We were kind of just out. I remember it was like July and it was hot. And we were out kayaking and it was really nice. And the sun was shining and it was just kind of just sitting there all dreamy when it's like sparkling off the water. And we were just sitting there thinking, I'm going to do something. Like let's officially start a business and let's go for it. So that's what I did, and that's when it got kind of weird because my wife was changing jobs, so she basically had about a week's time of overlap between one job to another as far as being like not having to work. She basically had a week off, is what I'm trying to say there. So during that week off, she was able to go and take care of some stuff as far as like, go to the dentist and go to the eye doctor and go basically get the whole thing checked out from head to toe. So she was doing that, and she went to the doctor. And of course, when you go to the doctor, all you want to hear is, "Yep, everything's all good, healthy as a horse. Psh, get out of here, go be on your way." So That's not what happened, unfortunately, because at first it was like, okay, we just need you to come back in because we want to, something was weird with your blood test, so we just kind of want to, I think it was like take more blood, just, like something else. And then like 2 days later, it was like, we want to come back and do like another X-ray or something, and it just kind of kept building and building, and it's like, okay, now we want to put you into, one of those big tubes where we have to like lay you down and scan you. So after about the third one of those, it was finally ramped up. I remember it was a long weekend, and it was like the Saturday of a long weekend. We had to go in, and it was like, okay, we're gonna do the big. I don't know what it is when they put you in the tube there and lay you down and scan you. Not a CAT scan. Is that what it is? A CAT scan? Anyways, after that, she got done, and it's not X-ray, but the technician who was operating that was, looking at it, was like, yeah, there's definitely kind of something going on that part there on the inside. It was like, oh, but you're not a doctor, but you can tell us that, I guess. So he did, in fact, tell us that, and then kind of ended it with like, but like, don't let that like mess with your long weekend. So yeah, it was kind of weird there. So of course, right after that, then it was the sit down with the doctor to discuss what was going on, right? But I mean, that guy kind of let us know already what was going on. So I didn't really have a good feeling going into this doctor visit. And so we go into the office and we're sitting down, and just the way that we were situated, I was able to see his monitor. I just kind of, all I had to do was like turn my eyes to the side and I could see his screen. So as soon as he like sat down, logged in and brought up her stuff, I was able to like peek and see right away. So even before he started talking, I saw, and it was like, the torso, like an X-ray of the torso, and then there was like two black lines like intersecting like a crosshair over the left lung on the left side. And yeah, that was not a good way to start the conversation as far as peeking over and seeing that. So the doctor was like, yeah, in my professional opinion, it is cancer. It's a cancerous tumor on your left lung, and here's what your three choices are as far as course of action, what to do next. And so it was like, choice number one was that we could go in, surgery, just cut out like a lobe of the lung that the tumor is attached to and cut it out. Option two was that they could try like radiation therapy and like blast that area of her chest with radiation and try and see if they could affect the tumor that way. And then option number three was, of course, to do nothing. They have to tell you that's actually an option for you in case you want to just operate on hope, I guess. That will go away, but we did not do that. So we had to decide between kind of option one and two. And for her, the option, the surgery, was like, let's just, let's go in there, let's cut out this cancerous tumor and be done with it. Because more and more after we got the diagnosis, it was like figuring out what to do. I would talk to people, and either somebody would overhear or somebody knew somebody who was like, oh yeah, somebody I know has had this surgery and they had like a lung removed and they're like all good. They lead an active life. Like the only thing they can't do is like go scuba diving or something. So it's like, okay, well, let's, we're going to go with the option, have the surgery done. And that's what we did. And you have to go in like super early. We had to get up at like, I think it was like 4 a.m. And we were at the hospital like before 5 a.m. so they can get you all registered and checked in, and they do the surgery early in the morning. And then when they do it, you have the waiting area, and they have these boards, these monitors, and they don't show like the names. They just give you like a patient code, so the code that pertains to the person that's in surgery, and they have different colors to tell you. Like it's like, okay, like the whole rainbow of colors, and it's like this color means that they're awaiting surgery, and then like in surgery, and then like just out of surgery, and then like kind of recovering, and then like like awake but not able to like talk to people, and then so you had to wait for a specific color before you could see the person. So like pretty much took all day before I was able to see her again in the evening. And I remember it was American Thanksgiving, the day of the actual surgery. So yeah, it was like tough because like during this time I had tried some like business endeavors and things hadn't really worked out. So I was kind of at the point where I was like, maybe I'm just not made for this. Maybe I'll just kind of give up, not, maybe I'm just not smart enough. I'm not, I don't know sales. I'm not salesy enough or whatever. So I was kind of feeling sorry for myself, but like I had a lot of time to do the thinking as far as, what was going on, because each day I would be up there in the morning, visit with her all day, and then I would come home once visiting hours ended, and which was good in a way because we had a wicked amount of snow, so I had to like shovel pretty much each day as well. But when I would get up there, each day was pretty structured because they give you like a ton of. They're like, okay, need to do like, it was just like sets, and I was like ruthless. I'm like, hey, you need to do like 3 sets of these breathing exercises, and then 4 sets of these breathing exercises, and we have to do some laps around the ward, and so each day was very, very regimented as far as, how, getting her back on track and, straightened out again and getting her out of the hospital. Yeah, it was tough. Throughout the process, even before the surgery, I was just like, I would always make it just be like sound super easy. Like, yeah, they're just gonna go in, they're gonna, do the surgery. You might be a little sore the day after, and just like, because I'm a doctor, right? Because I know how this is gonna be. I just literally kind of made it up because I wanted to make sure that she felt like it was gonna be easy, and that she was like hopeful, optimistic, everything was good. And it was only like when I was alone that I would have like little moments, like if I was driving, where I would kind of, where it would hit me and I would kind of break down. So, but what I knew it was because right after the surgery, it was 3 rough days. And because they're doing the surgery inside you, they go in through the back, and they leave this like kind of like C-shaped scar on your back when they go in. And when they go in, after they do their stuff, they have these tubes coming out of you because it has to, everything that's been like messed with inside needs to drain, right? Like if you've ever had like a wound on the outside, sometimes it like drains, or they have to, you have to change the bandages because it kind of weeps a bit. So imagine that, but like on a very large scale inside your body. So literally like 3 tubes coming out of her body, going down to like these bags on a pole, so you could see everything that was draining out and whatnot. And yeah, first 3 days were pretty rough, and we just tried to fill that time with doing the breathing exercises and walking around the ward as much as possible. But I knew it was on the 4th day that things were on the mend, or like way better as far as status, because I got to her room, and as soon as I walked in, I could see that everything had been like cleaned up and adjusted and organized and everything. And I was like, oh, she must be up and about doing this. And she was like standing when I got there, so it was like, oh, okay, so this is right on. This is good. So, when they, on the 4th day, I'm pretty sure it was the 4th day, but that's when they take the tubes out. Once everything, they're like, hey, you're done draining, it's safe to do this, we're going to do it. And it's like, there's no nice way to do it. They're like, okay, breathe, and it's like on the exhale, blow all the way out, and then they literally put their hand inside your body, grab the tube, and pull. And I thought there was like 6 inches of tube inside. There was like, I don't know, 1.5 feet. It was shocking how much tube came out when they did that. So, and judging by the look and the intensity on my wife's face, it looked like it was pretty painful with each tube when they pulled it out. But that was a pretty gnarly time when they did that. And then I'm pretty sure it was the 5th day. It was either the 5th or 6th day that we were able to finally actually go home. And then it was a pretty decent recovery time at home. So it was kind of nuts because once we were home, they gave like some pretty strong pain meds and whatnot. And yeah, I know my wife will probably kill me for mentioning this, but like I think she said it was like 10 days, like a week at least, without going to the bathroom. So, and then when it came back, apparently it came back like the vengeance. I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear any more. That's it. That's all I want to hear. But so yeah, strong pain meds. You gotta watch out for that. But so when we were at home, it's kind of like when when it hit me, And I kind of had my, I'm sitting there. She's kind of like resting on the couch, just zonked out of it because of pain meds. Just like her head's back and she's just like out of it. And I'm like holy cow! Like she just did everything that was asked of her without complaint, And I'm like ready to throw in the towel on my business dreams because like it didn't succeed on my first and second try out of the gate. I didn't make like $1 million in a week, and I'm like, nah, it's too hard. I gotta give up. So that's kind of that's when I had my moment, so to speak. So then I just was like, okay, like you need to put in the time and kind of like learn like proven stuff, proven concepts, and like do what it takes to become an expert in like marketing, sales. I had never even worked the cash register at McDonald's before. I knew like very little about sales. Didn't really understand it, so it's kind of like starting from ground zero. But they say go and put in your 10,000 hours. So it's like, okay, well, we had a lot of time while my wife was healing there to get like a good start on it. But so that's kind of like how things came to be, how they came around. But the best part of it is that she showed me what real strength was, and like you know being determined and committed. And I don't know, that's about as far into it as I think I can go here tonight. But that's basically the reason why I'm here doing this today, why I've accomplished what I accomplished. Why I'm doing this podcast here at all today is because of her, and uh, just like the strength that I imparted from her, and what I saw. So yeah, that is it for the origin story. Thanks for watching episode number 1 of the podcast. I'm going to be doing more, lots more, and it's going to be great because now we're going to be talking about sales funnels and awesome stuff. And don't worry, like it wasn't like that was the end and like the next day I was like ultra successful or anything like that. I promise you, I tried a lot of bad stuff. And the great thing is we get to talk about it on the podcast. And just to give you a hint of some of the silliness, like I tried to put out an ebook, and sell an ebook like I was an expert under a pen name, they call it, an ebook on being a single parent. Which is kind of ironic because my wife and I are married, and we don't have any children at this point in time. But this was like years ago, to go and put out a book on being a single parent, was kind of laughable. So, and I think to this day, still sold 0 copies. I think we have a perfect record on that one. So yeah, if you've ever, if you're worried about trying something and it's not going to work, or you've done stuff and it didn't work, don't worry. I promise you, I've got some horrific stories to tell you about things that didn't work, or bad marketing ideas, or bad business ideas. But that's all in the past, because I'm the sales funnel nerd now. And if you have questions about sales funnels, marketing automation, emails, copywriting, fun stuff like that, email it in, support@seanbailey.com, and I will answer your questions right here on the podcast. Because if you don't send in questions, then I gotta talk about me and stuff that I did. Usually every story involves kayaking. So thanks for being a part of the Sales Funnel Nerd Podcast, episode number 1, and I will see you in the next episode.